I'm back. It's 5:08 p.m. So here's my housing update. I'm not even trying to, it's not even my intention to try to fight with people. I'm sitting here trying to fight to doggone survive. So, it's, so I mean, yesterday morning, I went to the housing, area housing, and so I checked the status on my housing, and this was the first time I went over there in a long time, and also the first time I went there and everybody was, well, not that many people, but a couple of people, first time, I was treated nice. Because when I went back there in 2019, the people were so vicious and brutal and cruel, you know. So I was hesitant to go back there, So I'm glad I had a good experience to go, but I was told that my housing status is, I've been on the list for officially 3.5 years. 3.5 years I've been on the area housing list. So 18 months, I'm sorry. What am I saying? Not a year and a half. I meant to say 3.5. Wait, let's see. 42 months I meant to, is that 3.5? Yeah, 42 months, 3.5 years. I've been on that housing list. And so they said my status is still pending. And so I was told that the lady said that the fact that I'm just one single person, they said that it's harder to get a single 1 bedroom or studio efficiency, whatever, or a 1 bedroom. And so she said that a whole bunch of people are waiting. There's the longest waiting list for that. And she said she doesn't know when it will be. But earlier this year, and I don't know if it was that same lady or a different lady, said, "Oh, you've been on the list for 3.5." No, she said, "You've been on the list for 3 years. Your name ought to be coming up anytime soon." So, so my name, I guess, ought to be anytime soon. So they said my status is still pending. And so I'm still on that waiting list, but the waiting list for others is now closed. And they said that there's no emergency housing, and that the last time that they had emergency housing was way back in 2003. So they said it's hard to find affordable housing all across the country, that there's an affordable housing crisis. But y'all, there's no crisis with gentrifying everything, though. There's no crisis with that. I mean, and it makes me mad that a couple of blocks down the street from here, they have this new place called Waverly, and it looks like some condos for the rich. Condos for the rich being built. So why building more condos for the rich rather than affordable housing for the poor? So y'all want to keep people forced, enslaved, and oppressed. So I was given a list of a 2-page list of supposed other low income places that I could apply for, or ask about, at least ask about them. So I'm gonna have to, but I need to find a quiet place and time to go down the list and call different apartments or housing or whatever. So yeah, I still don't have an answer yet on that lady who said that she was supposed to help me with the trailer. She said she still doesn't have an answer yet, but it sounds kind of too good to be true. And then she kept giving me different stories every time I asked. So you know, back in 2019, before the you know what started, it was December 2019. I kept looking around for a place, and everybody kept saying nothing is available. There was nothing available even in my hometown, New Orleans, after they booted me off the Section 8 housing by neighborhood mobbing. They bullied me out of every neighborhood I try to live in before I realized, well, that this is part of the targeting. And as I said, if I would have known that that was part of the targeting and also had other TIs to be supportive, I think that that could have helped me prevent being homeless, ended up homeless again. So, but I didn't even know back in 2018, 2017 and 18, I had no idea that such a targeted individual community existed. I didn't even know it existed. So, as I said, I very first heard about targeted individuals and gang stalking. It possibly could have been 2011, but definitely 2012. I first heard those terms. And so then it went over my head. But I have been also 2011, 2012, I heard about targeting and gang stalking and the terrorist watch list and stuff like that. I've been hearing about that with my Illuminati and research and the search for the truth and everything. So excuse me. So so then they vibrated me out of my house. And when they tortured me with the directed energy weapon so bad that I ended up in a hospital a few times, and I just I couldn't live there no more. Neighbors were threatening me. I talked about all this before. I even wrote ebooks on, how I became targeted or my targeting situation, or well, no, not how I became targeted, but I wrote an ebook about myself being targeted, and also I wrote an ebook about my homeless experiences. I have a bachelor's degree, and I'm disabled and have certain limitations. It's like I can't even be around noise, the slightest of noise. I can't even be around. And so they have people trying to tell me that, oh, if noise bothers you so much, then you don't need to live in connected housing with anybody. You need your own little small house off to yourself somewhere with no you don't need to be living in no apartments or nothing. But yeah, I was supposed at the beginning of 2020, the perps stole this cottage that I was supposed to get. I was supposed to get a cottage, a single cottage, and the perps stole that opportunity from me. And the cottage, the little building, was a distance away from the next, and they had a couple of other little buildings or whatever, and I could have been at peace, but it was a small yellow cottage, and they stole that from me. And then there was another place, a couple other places I tried to get in. The potential landlords that were about to rent a place to me, the gang stalkers must have bullied them or threatened them against me, and maybe told them to not let me have housing. So I mean, I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. If the online perps are falsely saying Candy's a menace to Pensacola or she needs to be banned from Pensacola and this and that, whatever, if I'm in Washington, D.C., I guarantee you I will do the same. I will still do the same thing. And then the online perp saying Candy need to get rid of her phone or she needs her phone confiscated from her and this and that, whatever. They're copying off of me saying that the perps need their cars confiscated from them. So that controlling, that they think they got the authority to police how many meals I should eat and try to make me feel ashamed for eating 3 meals a day or striving to eat 3 meals a day. And they be like, you ain't starving. That ain't your business. But you have a whole fucking red Porsche or a red Jaguar F-Pace. So I'll tell y'all this. It's now Tuesday. I was trying to say earlier, one of the videos from this morning, I was trying to let y'all know that I'm trying to ask in advance. I don't think it'll be Friday, but sometime between Saturday and next Tuesday, maybe, it's supposed to get really cold. Remember I told y'all that I'm wrongfully banned from Inslee First Baptist Church and can't go there anymore because they gang stalked me out of there and lied on me and tried to set me up on the coldest day of the year in 2020, January 2020. I think it was the day after MLK holiday. And I was forced to be outside and had to go and walk all the way to the Walmart on Pensacola Boulevard. And they bullied me and told me I better not fall asleep. So I was forced against my will to stay up all night. And the next morning was around 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was so freezing cold that I felt like my blood was going to turn to slush and that I was going to freeze over and die. And it was about 30 degrees. I can no longer go to the cheapest hotel, the self-service Hospitality Inn and Queen Mary Inn, which would be like $40 a night. Well, a little bit cheaper than that, $39.03 a night. I can no longer go there anymore because they turned Miss Annie from Hospitality Inn and the rest of them, they turned them all into gang stalkers. And they're supposed to be Christian-based hotels. And I exposed them as gang stalkers too. Miss Annie, she's Filipino, and they have a few other Filipino workers there and a few white people, that work there. But like, how the hell are you going to be a so-called Christian-based hotel and participate in gang stalking and lying? So I can no longer go to Hospitality Inn, and I never stayed at Queen Mary Inn, but I'm wrongfully banned from there because they're both somehow interconnected or something like that. But see, I don't have a car. I do not have a car, so I'm forced to sleep out in the elements. They mob me off at every job I freaking get, and most of the time won't even hire me. So I'm going to be having to ask for help with, a hotel room this coming week. In a few days. But I'm asking in advance to maybe have some help, in advance. And I'm still looking for a permanent solution to my housing, you know. So I mean, I would be open to go live in like Cantonment or Milton, Pace, Crestview, even Okaloosa County or Fort Walton Beach or whatever, if I had my own, if I had a vehicle, but I don't, so I can't be that flexible. But me not having a car, it's like, well, I probably would just stay home all day every day anyway. But um if I needed transportation, I probably would need an Uber or something. So um the surrounding cities, I'm open to wanting to live either way, but as I said, transportation might be a struggle. It might be hard for me to get transportation. I would need a car. Bad enough, I feel like you need a car here in Pensacola. So here in Pensacola, it seemed like to be lucky. I mean, take if you take the bus and get a job that's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and that can be within the bus riding windows, or if I can work somewhere downtown. But as I said, all these able-bodied young males, they get support and help and financial donations with the TI community. But I have limit. I'm not gonna say I'm totally disabled, but I have limited abilities, and I have a bachelor's degree. But due to forced social isolation and not getting out and everything, I don't have all that many skills. And they might have some things that I'm able to do that I didn't think I was able to do, or that I didn't know I have the ability to do. So the online purpose, as I said, they falsely accuse me of being greedy, which is the trigger word. They want me to be punished with being triggered for no reason. And they falsely accuse me of eating lavish every meal every day. And they falsely accuse me of staying in expensive fancy hotels. And then they falsely accuse me of being an ungrateful complainer, and none of this is any of their business. So if you falsely say that talking about me, I mean, I never stayed in a 5-star hotel here in Pensacola, really. If I did, I didn't know it. But I try to strive to stay in the cheapest or most affordable hotels that's available that I'm not wrongfully banned from. Like I can never go back to the Super 6 motel. I can never go to. They said for the rest of my life I'm blacklisted and on the do not rent list for exposing a perp with a red truck, and I think he had one tail light and a red truck, and he wasn't even a resident there, and he tried to run over me with his truck, and he didn't even stay there. And Miss Mary is a Masonic narcissistic perp that tried to cover for him, and they all were in on it. And it was November 2019. That same motel. Well, even if I did have the evidence, that channel is gone anyway because Starbreaker got that channel wrongfully taken down. The main PsychWorld channel, I wish I would have got to do that video to show proof and evidence of that, what looked like a bucket of blood. And the guy forced me to sleep on that same bed. The young Indian guy. He wouldn't have slept on that bed. And that was the only cheaper, what I thought was a cheaper motel that I knew of in the city, because I was still somewhat new. I had no idea. I didn't even know about Hospitality Inn or any place cheaper. And when I first came to Pensacola, I think that the Super Six motel was like $55 or $60 a night, or under $400 a week. And I didn't even know about some of the other weekly motels. I didn't even know about them. So I'm stuck here in Pensacola anyway. How do you expect me to get out of Pensacola without the money to leave Pensacola? If I have to beg for money for food, how the hell do I need to how the hell am I gonna get to go somewhere else? And the online perps trying to police and control where they want me to live, and I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to obey my enemies who hate me and wish me to die and be unhappy. I even try to venture out and look for places in Tallahassee and Panama City and Fort Walton Beach and even Mobile, Alabama earlier this year, and nothing. And people are saying it's not safe for me to go back to my hometown, New Orleans. Anyway, they say it's not safe. It's a war zone in New Orleans. So much high murder rate. So people have been begging me, do not come back to New Orleans because it's so dangerous that you can get killed. And as I said, I'm living my life for me, or at least trying to, and I don't want to live my life according to the decisions of narcissistic perp enemies, trying to police and control my life. And you hate me, and you say nothing good about me, and I never did you anything. I'm your enemy, and I never disrespected you. I never did you anything, and you part of the hate campaign against me. So there's really no shelters available for single women. They have it for women with children and men, but nothing out here for single women. And if I were to stay in a shelter, they would mob me out of there too, and like they have done. And shelters aren't safe, and people need to research and wake up to the truth about homeless shelters. So today is November 8th. I have not asked for any money for food since the 3rd when I got paid. But now I have to ask for help with hotel room, and I don't really know if it's supposed to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's supposed to be at least 5 days in a row of severely cold weather, very cold weather. Excuse me. It's supposed to be cold weather, and nobody says that it's insane for society to leave a disabled female to suffer out on the streets, make you suffer as a form of punishment out on the streets. All because I've spoken about people being abusive and unfair towards me. So now all of a sudden I'm a menace. I'm a bad person. But people online trying to think they got the authority to run me out of Pensacola. Like, how the hell, if you're living in Cincinnati, Ohio, what care do you have about what I do in my YouTube videos or where I should live at? In 2018, when I was stuck and stranded in Los Angeles, you know, after being homeless and after working at the Grand Canyon, and that didn't work out because of the workplace mobbing in Grand Canyon in Arizona. I and they even they workplace mobbed, gang stalked me, and tortured me with direct energy weapons at the Grand Canyon North Rim, where I worked at, only for 11 days, right around Labor Day. And then somebody stole all my stuff, and I was set up and stranded in Los Angeles and could not get. I mean, it was a struggle to get my work paychecks, and I had to wait a couple of weeks to get my paycheck from the Grand Canyon. And they were not gonna they were trying to trap me in Los Angeles and not let me go back home to New Orleans. My first day back in New Orleans, I took the Amtrak and came back home. Amtrak for the first time in my life, second time, but one time I took the Amtrak, on some kind of transportation day or some kind of event going on. And I think I remember taking the Amtrak from Los Angeles to Glendale or something, just one stop. And that was, I don't remember what year that was, probably 2013, 14, 15. I was living in LA. And I got my Section 8 in LA, Los Angeles, in 2012. Well, actually, I was on the list in 2011. I got my Section 8 within 2 months because of the fake mental health program. So, they try to bully me back into the mental health system and try to make it like, well, if you're compliant with mental health, then you can get housing, And I said, well, I'm not selling out, and I'm not giving y'all my mind, body, and soul. So eventually they left me alone, and I still was able to keep my Section 8. And they kept trying to threaten me, saying, well, if you don't, comply with mental health services, then we're going to take your Section 8 away. Oh, well. So I had Section 8 for all that time until they targeted me that bad that I was forced to abandon my place to live, being tortured with the energy weapons so bad and bullied by neighbors and being made to feel unsafe. I swear, once the video is over, they're going to stop making my nose itch. I think they're doing this to my nose on purpose. Like they hit me with energy weapons to make my nose itch on purpose, just so that they can manipulate other professed targeted individuals and be like, oh, Candy's a perp. See, she's scratching her nose or she touching her nose. She's a perp. She's perping me in her videos. And I'm not. And so it's like, as I said, they're scratching. I mean, my nose did not start itching in different spots, and I know it seems like it's localized, in different spots that they're causing my freaking nose. They're hitting my nose with directed energy weapons so that they can falsely say that, oh, Candy's a perp and stuff. Or if they say, oh, Candy's nasty, she's digging in her nose. So I never strive or seek to try to live in the Sheraton, the Hilton, the Marriott. Never could afford to or never strive to stay in those kinds of hotels. I just try to find the cheapest hotel that I could afford where I'm welcome. Hotel or motel. And so, if you staying in a hotel where the they might have a knob missing off the hotel room, where the knob might be missing off of, say, for example, the toilet, or the toilet may not flush, or the room might have a bent shower curtain liner, or stains on the bed or anything, you know. But I'm not nitpicky to be on making bad reviews on, making Google bad reviews saying, well, I don't like the room, or whatever. And Kimberly Harper, she lied on me and said that I complain about the room every room, every hotel room that I get, which is not true. And then they want to seek to try to hunt for, oh, let's see what hotel room Candy's staying in, so we can try to get her banned, or let's get her banned. Yeah, let's get her banned. Let's get her kicked out. And y'all falsely profess to be Bible believing Christians, and y'all conspiring to destroy someone who never did you anything. So when a hurricane or a tornado comes, and the first thing y'all say is, don't give her any money, she's scamming people. I never saw people do that to other professed targeted individuals. And then y'all falsely, y'all are sex trafficking perps who are not fake TI perps but regular perps, and falsely saying Candy is a fake TI scammer. Don't donate to her anything to her, and let her freeze. Y'all should make Candy freeze to death. She deserves to freeze to death. I hate Candy, and let's make her freeze to death. If I freeze to death, y'all got blood on your hands. So please look in the description box. I'm asking for help starting now, whatever y'all